In this video, I want to share what I think are the top 7 money mindset books. If you were to dedicate like the next 12 months of your life just to devouring and practicing what is in these books, I guarantee you your relationship with money, your experience with money, where you're at financially would be radically different in just 1 year. I am going to put these in order of the books that have made the biggest impact on me. So my personal favorites from top to bottom, but they're all radically different. So I'm going to share what each one is good for, where it lays in terms of mindset and practicality, and hopefully be able to give you a good idea of where you might want to start. My top book for money mindset is Profit First. And on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to mindset, it's probably like a 2 or a 3. It's on like a 9 or a 10 when it comes to practical, actionable steps that really make a difference in your finances. Now, this is really geared towards entrepreneurs. So if you're not an entrepreneur, skip to book number 2. I'll have the timestamps below. That one is good for anyone, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. But if you are an entrepreneur, please, for the love of all that is holy, devour this book 10 times over. This book allowed me to probably quadruple my business profit in like a month, if that. This is the most mind-blowing book when it comes to business finances and budgeting that I had ever experienced. Now, I've been in business for 20 years now. It was about 15 years in when I got my hands on this book, and it solved problems that would have saved my business, my first business, 15 years ago. So I recommend this book up, down, and sideways to every single entrepreneur I come in contact with, especially because what happens is we get something called, I call it budget creep. In personal finances, they call it lifestyle creep. It's where you're making more money in your business, but you feel more broke because your expenses are growing at the same time. He has the most simple tweak strategy. It's going to change the way that you approach your finances. It's going to change the way that you think about profit. And it's going to force you to do some things that you're not going to be able to do otherwise. Well, you could, but it's hard and most people struggle with this. So you'll see a lot of 7-figure entrepreneurs who are dead broke because they don't understand what he teaches in this. So I don't want to give it away. It is such a good book. Like literally read this book, put it into place immediately. You will not regret it. Book number 2 is The Art of Money. This is by Bari Tessler. This is such a beautiful book. In terms of mindset, I would put this as a 10. In terms of practical, actionable steps, like what do I actually do to put all this mindset work into place, it is a solid 10. It covers everything from healing from your financial experiences, your money wounds, to addressing budgeting and doing so in a way that aligns with your values. And one of the things that I love about this book is that it is so deep and rich and spiritual without being woo-woo, without being flashy, without being money grabby. You know how some books can go that way, and some of the books on this list actually kind of go that way? This book is the exact opposite of that. I love that this book gives you some really practical exercises to deal with the emotions that come up, whether that's frustration, overwhelm, shame. It also gives you really practical tools in terms of everything, like I said, from personal budgeting to long-term savings, investing, giving you resources so that you can really expand on this. And what's really cool is that not only does she have this book, she has a year-long course that allows you to step through these concepts a little bit at a time with so many extra resources to it. In fact, the only downside of the course was that there was so much to it that it could kind of be overwhelming and didn't have quite as much structure as I would have hoped it had. But I still highly recommend it because if you were to dedicate, like I said before, if you were to dedicate a year of your life just to changing your stories, your experiences around money, that is going to be one of the most incredibly healing, powerful life-changing years ever, simply because money touches so many different aspects of our life. I think that she just does this in a really beautiful way that doesn't go too far in the extreme of like loving money, but really putting money in its rightful place, honoring it, respecting it, developing a relationship with it that is healthy, that is balanced, and that allows you to feel really good about what you're doing and not feel like you are, maybe turning into an internet marketer, something along those lines. You probably know what I'm talking about, where some of it is just so flashy that it's kind of obnoxious. This is not that book. Please get your hands on this book. Of all of the books that I am recommending in this video, this one and the other one, they blow everything else away. They're so good. Book number 3, I need to just get the paperback of. I have listened to it so many times. It is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And yes, it is the OG of money mindset books. And yes, it is probably a little bit cliche. You've probably heard it like mentioned a million times. If you haven't already listened to it, once you read it, you're going to see its themes in so many other books that you read, because it is like the granddaddy of money mindset. And so much of what he teaches are things that people have been teaching ever since then. This is another book that is on level 10 when it comes to mindset, as well as level 10 when it comes to practicality. There are a ton of just huge mindset shifts and kind of aha moments that are going to happen throughout the book. And the more you immerse yourself in what he's talking, the more it clicks and starts to make sense. But there's a lot of like actual practical, like here are some things that you can do differently. It's not going to go as much into your personal finances and how to approach money in your budgeting and things like that. That's where the art of money comes in. But this is really just going to allow you to approach the art of making money and changing your mindset around how you do that. And one of the things that I love most about this book is it really teaches you that it's about service, that abundance or prosperity or thriving, making money in your life is about making a difference for other people, and that you really get to earn money and not just expect it to show up for you. So it's this really healthy balance between like the law of attraction with some like, a healthy smackdown of like, get real. What have you done to really be able to deserve or to earn what it is that you're putting out there? So it's a really good balance of those two, the practical and the mindset. Book number 4 is The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianna Williamson. I have this one on Audible. I love to hear her read it, but I will say this, she has a very chill, relaxed voice. The book is very calming and relaxing. Do not listen to this while you are operating heavy machinery, or if you do not want to go to bed, if you're sleepy. This isn't the book that you want to read if you're wanting to get amped up, but it is a book to just allow you to absorb the concepts of what she's talking about and the approach to money that she has that is, again, very deep, very spiritual, without being too entitled. In terms of mindset, it's definitely a level 10. In terms of practicality, though, and actionable steps, it's like a 1. The most you're going to see from this are prayers throughout the book that kind of just help you to meditate on and bring your focus and your awareness around how it is that you want to feel or think about money. But there's not a lot of actual practical, tangible, like here is what you can do to implement this. I do love it for the encouragement though. And so what I would actually recommend is get some of the more actionable, practical books, read those first, start to implement them. And then as you're implementing those steps, do things like listen to Marianna Williamson's book, which is going to help you to just absorb the messages that she teaches around the idea of divine compensation, around abundance, around money, around the relationship that you have with it. Book number 5 is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, A Practical Guide to the Fulfillment of Your Dreams by Deepak Chopra. This is an oldie. This was written, I think, in 1993 or 94. It's good though. In terms of mindset, definitely level 10. In terms of practicality, I would probably put this closer to a 4 maybe. You've got some good ideas at the end of every chapter, but they're simple. They're more concepts, things to chew on, things to watch for, awareness, meditation, and not a lot of hands-on tweaks or changes that you're gonna make with money or what you're doing with money. It's a super short book. The text is even kind of big on it, so you could actually get through this pretty quickly. And what I would recommend with this one is read a chapter a day, preferably in the morning, or maybe at night, but in the morning, at least refresh the 3 things that he puts at the end of every chapter, and then focus on those things throughout the day so that you can start putting them into place. This is definitely one that I need to read multiple times. The concepts that he teaches are very big picture concepts. They're kind of hard to grasp. There's not a lot of examples. There's not a lot of stories to kind of help you put it into context, but it is still a great book with some great concepts. I just find it a little bit slower to digest and absorb, and so it's something that I can come back to again and again and again, and I think you probably will too. Book number 6 is Get Rich, Lucky Bitch by Denise Duffield-Thomas. In terms of mindset, I'd honestly call it like an 8 or 9. It is mostly mindset, but it's not exactly the voice or the approach that I personally love. In terms of practicality, I would say it's probably a 5. And it's funny because the first time I went through this book, I remember it feeling more practical, but as I went through it more recently, I realized that there are a lot of practical pieces, but it's not as clearly defined as it is in some of the other books. It's not like at the end of the chapter, it's like, okay, here's how we put this into place. It's a lot of little things throughout the chapter that you can kind of play with. I have the old cover, so she's got a newly updated version. There may be some changes to it, but I expect it's not going to be a massive overhaul. I could be wrong. In fact, if you know better, comment below, let me know what the differences are. One of the things that I don't like so much about this book is that it does seem to come off a little flashy, right? Its approach to money is more of a rich, like get rich, right? Get rich, lucky bitch. But it's a little more, I hate to use the word obnoxious, but that's the closest word that I can find to describe how it is. It's really about getting money and not just living an abundant lifestyle or feeling abundant. Those things are definitely in here, but there's some concepts in here that just don't click as much with me in terms of having a healthy approach to money. It almost seems to tip to the opposite side of the extreme, where it's almost putting money on the pedestal. This is more about the law of attraction, and I do find that sometimes when people teach the law of attraction, it does tip to the opposite side of the extreme. But I still love this book, and I recommend this book, especially if that makes you uncomfortable. Because if something's making us uncomfortable, it's a good sign for us as to what we're dealing with inside. And when we're talking about money especially, it can be a really great practice to help us desensitize ourselves so that we don't feel so uncomfortable when people are talking about money. You know, people can be talking about money and you can know that it doesn't line up with you without feeling like gross or scared or shrinking away. If you're feeling all those kind of negative emotions, instead of just you know what, that's not really my approach to money, that's not really resonating with me, that's where you really want to pay attention. You want to be able to know what's a right fit for you without feeling triggered. When we feel triggered, when we feel a big emotions over something, it's usually big negative emotions, especially, it's usually a sign of something that we actually need to work on. So even if these concepts make you uncomfortable, I would still recommend playing with them. There are some really good questions, some good exercises, some good mindset shifts and aha moments that are going to happen with this book. And then number 7 is You Are a Badass at Making Money. I also listened to this one on Audible, and so I just got some B-roll from the bookstore for these. I probably should buy them just to have them on hand because they are such integral books when it comes to money mindset. There are so many books on money mindset, though. I just want you to remember that. These 7 are great, but there's so many others out there. The reason that I am mentioning this one is because in terms of mindset, I would definitely put this right up there with Denise Duffield-Thomas. It's like a solid 8 or 9. It doesn't always approach money in a really healthy, balanced way. It seems to kind of tip to the other side of the extreme a little bit as well. But there's a lot of great practical exercises in this one that I really enjoyed. I do recommend not doing the audio on this one or any of them that have a lot of practical pieces to them, because it's a little bit more difficult to implement those things when you can't see the exercise in front of you or come back to it, write down the questions that maybe you want to answer or the steps that you need to take. As I said, these are just my favorite money mindset books and the ones that I recommend really delving into to see what happens for you, see the aha moments that you have, see where you get challenged, see where you get triggered, to be able to work on those things and see what happens over the next 12 months or even just 7 months. If you were to do a book a month, what would change for you in the next 7 months? And if you have a favorite book, I hope that you will drop it below. I would love to start a full list for other people watching this video and looking for inspiration around money mindset and books that they could devour to help them to change their own. By the way, if you're brand new here, my name is Tara Wagner. I'm a belief breakthrough coach helping women to crush their goals, not their soul. And if that sounds like your jam, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, give this video a like, definitely leave me a comment. All those things help me out a ton, and I would love to get to know you as well. Then check out these next videos on money mindset. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.